Good morning, and welcome to the Lone Star Weekly Business Hour. Your host, Rick Schissler, is a Silver Fox advisor who personally has over 40 years of experience as a serial entrepreneur. So sit back, pull out your pad and pencil, and get ready to take notes as we join Rick Schissler in his Lone Star Weekly Business Hour.
Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us for this edition of the Weekly Business Hour. This is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor and the host of the Weekly Business Hour. We have a great show lined up for you today. We'll start with the thought of the week and then a quick check-in with Dick on the business of Lone Star. And Donna Wick of Wicked Publicity will be joining us. And then we'll finish out today's program with several news items, some tips and ideas I hope you can use to improve your business. So sit back, get ready, pull out your pen and pad, and let's get started with today's show. First, remember, if you have a thought or a question either during the show or after the show and want to submit it, please do so through email directly to me at rick@irlonestar.com. You're in the right place if you're a business owner, manager, or you're considering starting your own business, because the Weekly Business Hour is where Montgomery County comes to talk about the latest in business news, ideas to improve your business, and to hear from some of our own local business leaders on how they have found success right here in Montgomery County. Don't forget, if you're listening to the show and you enjoy it, then please like us on our Facebook page, The Weekly Business Hour. Now let's check in on business right here at Lone Star with Dick. What's on tap for Lone Star this week?
Well, we got some big news coming up this week. We'll be able to announce our launch date for the addition of the FM signals, 104.5, 106.1. So I encourage everybody to keep an eye on Facebook. Also, if you listen to your favorite shows, hopefully this week we'll be making the day announcement when we'll be adding that addition to Lone Star Community Radio.
Well, big things going on in the business here at Lone Star, and I hope big things are going on in your businesses if you're listening to us live or on our podcast later in the week. Well, I'm going to introduce our special guest today, and I don't know if there's a lot of introduction that's necessary, but Donna Wick of Wicked Publicity, a big part of the business community here in Montgomery County and beyond, is our guest today. Good morning, Donna. How are you?
Oh, good morning, Rick. Thanks for having me on. I'm doing great.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, Wicked Publicity, got to get that out. That's almost a tongue twister, you know, Wicked Publicity.
We try to make it tough on you, yep.
Well, that's good PR, right?
Yeah.
Very memorable. I have to ask you this question because it's been in my mind as I see your advertising around town, your billboards, and have gotten to know you and the folks that work for you. How did you first conceive the idea for Wicked Publicity?
Well, actually, for the marketing company, it was back when I was on the radio. I was on the radio for 6 years, and I had a Monday through Friday drive time program called Vision for America. I started out in San Jose, California, and then started simulcasting in L.A., and then I rolled that show out to 50 markets. But here's what was really interesting, Rick, is that when I would interview guests, and of course when they're on the air, of course they're the quintessential expert, right? They have all the answers. But during the commercial breaks, they would say, hey man, you know, how do I make money at this? And so I would do my show in the morning, and then I would spend the rest of the day helping people market their ideas. And of course that was before the internet. I mean, I think our show was one of the very first shows that partnered with NBC's Talk City to do online chat. That's how long ago that was. And people were still trying to figure out, how do I make money turning my passion into profit?
Well, you know, that's an interesting story. It almost sounds you're a little bit of a pioneer in the new technologies that we're dealing with, using the chat format and whatnot. Very interesting to me as someone who's interested in business marketing, and I'm glad we have access to you in this community here. You know, one of the things that always bothers me when I talk to my business clients or just talk to somebody in business in general is that PR and marketing are the most cost-effective ways, in my opinion, based on my experience, the way to communicate about one's business. Why do business people in general miss this?
Well, I think because they're so far into legacy marketing. Legacy marketing is, you know, used to, you know, days gone by were, you know, yellow page ads and things like that. But people are addicted to legacy marketing. They really feel like when they buy that Valpak coupon, they place that ad in that newspaper and the magazine, that the people are just going to come flooding through the doors, and then they're so disappointed when that doesn't happen. And then, of course, they go back to the source, and it was, well, you've got to do it 3 times, 5 times, 10 times to get the exposure, and so people roll with it. And I do believe there's, we have billboards, so I obviously do believe in advertising, but you also have to do other things so that you can build your buzz while you're building your brand. And it's all about, like our axiom is build your brand and they get you more customers, because altogether that makes you more money. And so when we're talking to companies about PR, it used to be days gone by, you used to send out a press release like, okay, there's your PR. And then just doesn't work like that anymore. It takes genius, honestly, to really build buzz for a business. It takes marketing prowess. You have to know how to tap into social media, marketing, media buys, television, print, radio, all of it. I mean, you do such a great service to businesses in our community, because you and Dick are the only hyper-local radio opportunities where people can voice their message. It's very valuable in the community, because whoever's listening is within a 15-minute radius of whoever they're listening to on the radio. I mean, they're totally accessible, but it's, you have to start looking at marketing in a completely different light.
You bring up a very interesting and, in my opinion, a very challenging point for a lot of different businesses, but particularly I think in your business, is this whole scenario of marketing just keeps evolving, and it's moving so fast, obviously driven to a lot of in a big way by the internet. How do you and your team keep up with what's working?
Well, we're always innovating. We're always looking for the next thing. People right now, they feel like, okay, I've got my Facebook, got my LinkedIn, got my Twitter account, and they feel like they're hooked up. Unfortunately, none of those platforms are actually interfacing with the other, so they're very, flaccid platforms for them. They're not really garnering a great deal of attention, because they're all standalone platforms. They're not talking to one another. They're not, usually, most of the posts that I see, they're not strong call to actions, but there's also a formula for how many calls to action you can have within a week with all your posts that you're making. But also social media is, it is like tick, tick, tick. Every minute it is changing. It used to be Twitter was really a really ingenious way to get your message out there. Now there's so much noise on Twitter, it's hard to even be heard. So, and even if you're following people or they're following you, how does that really convert? That, it's all about conversion, right? It's all about how does that bring me a customer? How does that sell a car, put a car in an automotive bay? How does that convert? And then we have things like Google Plus. So Google Plus was supposed to be the next big thing. Well, Google Plus is on its way out. You only interface with Google Plus just because of your rankings. So there's certain things you do on social media just for the rankings, and then there are other things that you do that are strong calls to action. So absolutely, the internet has changed the world, and but like I said, you've also got to do, your advertising. We have a long-running ad in Review It magazine. We have a page called Business RX. So obviously, it takes a little bit of advertising, a lot of, online, radio, TV, all of it.
Well, I think that it's my opinion, and particularly after listening to you there, that the speed, if you will, and complexity of advertising marketing today creates, in my opinion, and it would be my recommendation to most of my clients, the need to engage your kind of services. It's just a must. Do you see it that way?
Oh, I do, because first of all, if you're going to hire, say, a social media person, and trust me, we thought, okay, well, we'll just hire a social media person and they'll fix everything. And but because it takes such innovation, it takes someone being on tap at that every day. There's no way to do it. Plus, if you're going to hire a social media person for your company that really knows the scene, that really is on top of it, that really has great prowess, great genius in social media management, that person's going to cost you $100,000. They're going to cost you $100,000 a year. Forget, oh, we'll get a gal Friday in here to do this. Oh, we'll pay someone $24,000 or $30,000 a year for this. No, because they are in such demand. Why? Because they drive business. And so anybody that can drive business is in demand. So what we've done is we've added it to our wheelhouse. So we can do your social media. We can get you on TV. We just had MW Cleaners as one of our clients. We just had them on TV 5 times last week with a program that we actually created for them. So they didn't even create that program. We knew their core values. We knew what types of things they wanted to do, but we created the perfect opportunity for them so that we could get them on TV, get their message out there, manage their social media. We hit it on all fronts, had them on radio, and of course then we get them in print features reviewing the event that they just basically sponsored.
Well, and that you hit on it with that example with MW Cleaners, the fact that you not only can find the right medium to put the message out, if you will, it's putting an entire program together so it flows and will get you a lot better return than typically the average business person can create for themselves.
Well, absolutely, because your core competency, your genius is having an award-winning radio show. Okay, MW Cleaners, their core genius is dry cleaning. Mercedes-Benz, Woodlands, another client of ours, their core is selling cars. So they don't want to have to invent an event to get their message out there. They look to us to do that. So for our clients, depending on what type of client it is, either we're doing quarterly events for them, we're doing monthly events for them, we're creating programs where we can get their name out there, build their buzz, build their brand, get more customers, make more money. That's the long and short of it right there. But it's also I love how you say you're a serial entrepreneur. For a serial entrepreneur, they really need us because they're busy not only chasing down their clients, but they're also trying to make it rain at the same time, right? So they're trying to increase their cash flow. They're trying to get more customers. And so we are, a valued resource for them. So we represent singular attorneys to large, law firms, to the mom and pop shop, to, the MW Cleaners, which has, 35 locations. So this is, it's not a one size fits all. It is equal opportunity though. So we can go in and assess what you're doing in your business, see where your greatest need is. And then we're going to find the most cost-effective way to engage you so that we can help build your business. Because when we start building your business and you start seeing those results, then we're going to have a lifetime customer. And I think that's one of the interesting things about our business. We do a lot of things differently than traditional PR firms. But one of them is that we don't even utilize contracts. I don't need a contract. I am completely undaunted with earning your business, every day of the week, every week of the month, every month of the year. I don't have to have a contract to rope you into a relationship with me because I know if I deliver results, you're going to be my customer. So I don't have to sell you, but I will allow you to buy from me, every day of the week through results.
Well, I think that's obviously a wonderful business philosophy and something I've advocated in a lot of businesses, that contracts are just roadblocks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break now. I hope you'll stay with us. When we come back, we're going to continue our visit with Donna Wick and talk a little bit about some of their current projects that they're working on. So please stay with us, and we'll be right back with you.
The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension Program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and Youth, and Family and Consumer Sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour.
Heaven's Army of Resources and Recreation Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization featuring a 10,000 square foot building located at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas. At Heaven's Army, we offer over 26 different services free for all ages, from karate, dance, drug and alcohol classes, anger management, parenting, food and clothing pantries, to just name a few. We are supported solely by volunteers and private donations. Our main mission is to glorify God in all that we do. At Heaven's Army, we strive to be a hand up, not a handout. Come check us out at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas, or call for more information at 281-689-5864. You may also learn more about Heaven's Army by visiting our website at heavensarmyofresources.com.
Tailorized PR works exclusively to get your business noticed. Public relations is how others perceive you and your company. By tailorizing the marketing strategy exclusively to your business, your story is told. Tailorized PR services include networking, social media, blogs, press releases, public appearances, and event planning. To learn about Tailorized PR, call Margie Taylor at 936-828-6881 or visit the website at tailorizedpr.com. My business is tailored to yours.
Montgomery County is a 501c3 all-volunteer-based rescue and adoption organization with a no-kill policy for healthy and adoptable animals. Our goals are fourfold: to rescue and rehabilitate homeless animals, to provide a safe haven for the animals until a suitable adoption or foster care home is found or until they are reunited with their owner, to educate the public about the great need to reduce pet population, which includes the importance of having their pets spayed and neutered, and to further the cause for humane and responsible pet ownership, and to provide a low-cost spay-neuter clinic for people who are unable to afford to spay or neuter their pets otherwise. SPCA Pet Snap of Montgomery County encourages you to think adoption first. You can contact us at www.spcaofmc.com.
You are listening to the Weekly Business Hour, and this is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor and host for today's show. Before we get back with our visit with Donna Wick of Wicked Publicity, I want to remind you that the show is archived. If you'll check the website irlonestar.com, click on the Weekly Business Hour, the show will be posted in about 48 hours. Always remember, you can go there and listen to past shows in case you've missed them. Well, we're visiting with Donna Wick. Donna, let's continue our discussion, if it's good with you, about some of the current activities that your firm's involved with.
Well, I think the most exciting to me is our upcoming boot camp that we're having at the Woodlands Area Chamber of Commerce on May 19th. It's from 8 a.m. to noon on May 19th. And here's what's exciting about it, is I am going to disseminate to you everything in the world that I know about marketing, PR, and social media. So I can give the listener an opportunity to create their own plan, their own strategy. So I've been out here 30 years, been doing PR for as long as I can remember. But there are so many people that, maybe they, excuse me, Rick, maybe they just have a product they want to just test launch, or they have a business that they're doing in their part-time hours. Maybe they're working full-time. They're just trying to do something on social media that can launch an idea that they have. Well, I want you to come visit with me. Everything from the serial entrepreneur to the small business to the mid-sized business. We're going to have some great information for you on, first of all, how to connect the dots of all your social media, how you make it work, what are the things that you're doing currently that is absolutely killing your business, killing what you're trying to do, ways to get on TV. I wish I could say it's just, sheer brilliance that we do this, but actually it's tenacity. So if I can show someone how to get on TV, how to get on radio, how to get their features in print, maybe in their community newspaper, their major metropolitan newspapers, if those are still around, the community newspaper is going to be around forever because that's what's happening in our hometown. But also in national magazines, that I will be able to help you know how to craft those, and then also how to distribute those so that you can have your message out there.
It sounds like a wonderful opportunity. I've always been an advocate that most small businesses, particularly startups, entrepreneurs, really don't have as much information or knowledge as they should about marketing when they start their businesses. And your program seems to offer a whole lot, and I think 4 hours is what you said.
Yes.
This seems like a no-brainer to me if I'm either thinking about starting a business like you mentioned, or even if I'm in business, to go to school, if you will, for 4 hours and really catch up with what's going on.
Right. This is the crash course. It is very much a boot camp. And, one thing I've always said about small businesses, or even the entrepreneur, is that those businesses don't die. Those businesses commit suicide. And they commit suicide because they don't continue to learn and grow and innovate. And I can even understand why, because, again, they're trying to chase down clients, they're trying to hone their business, and then they're trying to make it rain. They're trying to bring in money. So there's not a lot of time to innovate or to take their strategies to the next level because they just don't. There's only so many hours in their day. So if a small business or an entrepreneur, mid-sized business, will send a representative or join us themselves, you're going to find that we will cut right to the chase. I always say all gold, no rubble. So if you're mining for gold, it's all gold nuggets, no rubble. We're going to go ahead and sift it out for you so that you have got strategies that you can implement the moment that you leave. You can pull up your iPad or your cell phone, and you can start implementing some of those strategies right then from this workshop, from this boot camp.
One of the things we've talked about today and touched on several times, in fact, was all the changes that are going on in marketing, PR. Just kind of gazing your crystal ball with me for a minute. What do you see in the future over the next 3 to 5 years, if you can look that far, of changes that are coming to marketing and PR for the small business people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question, Rick. It's just a great question because it's all about engagement. We used to be the word was connectivity. Oh, we're going to get connected, and we are so far from being connected right now because we're all on our devices. We're not really connecting. So I really believe the next wave is going to be engagement, and it's one of the things that we do successfully for our clients is that we do have prolific customer engagement for our clients, where we are creating opportunities where they are hand-to-hand, face-to-face with their clients, with their potential clients, with their existing clients. And just to say, anybody can create a party. Everybody can create a party. Let's go to this party, and we're going to create really great engagement for you. But if you have not really done your due diligence to make sure that everybody in that room is a great prospect for your client, then we're all just having an exercise. It means nothing. So you've got to know how the PR person has got to know how to seed that audience to make sure that every single person can either buy that Mercedes or is going to engage in dry cleaning or use that attorney, whatever that is, or go to Iggy Playground. That's one of our newest clients, Iggy Playground. So if I have moms in there with teenage children, then it's just an exercise. It doesn't mean anything. So you've got to create engagement with audiences that are going to be buying your product or a good candidate to buy your product. So I see that the next wave is going to be platforms that engage clients, where it's interactive, where it's like even YouTube right now. YouTube videos, first of all, you have to kind of get YouTube videos just for your rankings. But where you really want your videos is on Facebook, because they're the most shareable. That's where people are going to forward and share your videos. So you want those on Facebook most definitely. But it also helps if you're taking tweets and emails, chat from other folks live while it happens during your video, so that there is engagement. You're engaging with people that are asking the questions, and therefore you're engaging then the viewer, because the viewer's like, okay, well, they're asking questions that I might ask. So it's all about direct engagement and speaking to that person in that person's language.
It's funny you should mention that, but I was doing some research for today's show in a later segment, and one of the things I came across was a small article called The Power of Returns, and they said that on an average, 8% of the customer base that businesses have are long-standing buyers, and 41% of the business that particularly online business has is repeat customers, which you're talking about engagement and the importance of creating. It almost sounds like a hyper community, if I can use that word or those words, where people are definitely involved in what you're doing, because that's where the real money is.
Well, that's exactly right, because really the focus of businesses right now is not even trying to get new customers. It's in retaining customers, and not only retaining those customers, but increasing their opportunities to buy, because it's much easier to accelerate an existing customer than it is to go out and farm a new customer. So yes, when we're talking about engagement being the next wave, it is because the core level of interest for a company right now is, how do I keep my existing client? Because there is so little consumer loyalty, because everything is one click away. It's kind of like when, dating online. You date someone online, you get back from your date, you go online, you see they're online, you're talking to somebody else, because you're only as good as the next click, So if the next click is not someone that supersedes you, then you're still in the hunt with whoever you're dating. But if that person exceeds you, then you're out of the hunt. Same thing with your customer. Everything's online. So what's that next offer? I may eat Subway sandwiches, but the offer might be from Jimmy John's. Well, if it's closer and the offer's better, I may not have a loyalty to Subway. I may go ahead and exercise, my incentive to buy somewhere else. So that's why companies have got to be so honed in on client retention, and not only client retention, but then offering opportunities for that client to engage in buying again, or with upsales, added value, always increasing the value of your services to that client and the value of your client to your services.
Well, Donna, I really appreciate it. I kind of feel like I was in your boot camp. Lots of information in a short period of time. Lots of wonderful, valuable information. And I deeply appreciate you taking time today to be with us. If people want to learn more about your upcoming boot camp on May 19th, or about your company, or have a question, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
I want them to either call or text me directly. So you're going to get me. You're not going to get press 1, press 7, press 3, then asterisk. You're going to actually get me. So I want you to call me or text me at 832-326-1965. That's 832-326-1965.
Well, Donna Wick of Wicked Publicity, thank you so much again for joining us today. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our bottom of the hour break, and we'll be right back with you with some news and tips I hope you can use. Thank you.
Our community's animal shelters cannot absorb accidental litters of kittens and puppies. Approximately 80% of the animals entering our shelters will not make it out alive. Please help be a part of the solution. Please spay and neuter your pets. Many low-cost options are available. Visit texaslittercontrol.org to learn more. That's texaslittercontrol.org. And remember, real Texans don't litter. Please spay and neuter your pets.
Are you planning on growing, expanding, or possibly selling your business? All of these business opportunities require developing strategies and setting goals in order to achieve success. Providing specialized consulting in these and other key business decisions is what Silver Fox Advisors have been doing since 1986. Let us help you today. Call us at 713-343-3718. It might be the most profitable call that you ever make.
Lone Star Internet Radio is now bringing you the weekly business hour show each Monday morning at 11 a.m. My name is Rick Schissler, and I will be your host. Each week, we will be bringing you local, area, and national business news that you can use. The program will also feature an interview with a local or national business person who will share their own experiences, successes, and failures in operating their businesses. Our show is for anyone who already owns a business, whether they work solo or have employees, and for those who are thinking about starting their own businesses. A bit of information about myself. Again, my name is Rick Schissler, and I am a Silver Fox Advisor who has over 40 years' experience as a serial entrepreneur. As a part of our show, I will offer some advice and encouragement on our monthly topic, and I will take your questions by email at rschissler@silverfox.org or call into the station at 936-647-3776. See you on the radio Monday at 11 a.m. for the weekly business hour.
Running a business is hard. Pressure to maximize profits and minimize loss continue to grow. Schooley Mitchell of Houston can help. Their independent consultants will ensure you are receiving the best communications and credit card processing services at the best prices. Most importantly, their services are completely risk-free. If they don't find savings for you, there is no fee. Contact Schooley Mitchell of Houston today to find out. Call 832-314-1815 or visit their website at schooleymitchell.com/.
Doing business since 1985, Assistance League of Montgomery County is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization where all proceeds stay in Montgomery County. Through our Operation School Bell program, we have provided new clothes to over 50,000 students in our county. Visit our thrift shop at 126 North San Jacinto Street in downtown Conroe or call us at 936-760-1151. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
This is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox Advisor and your host for the Weekly Business Hour. And this portion of the show, we're going to talk about a little business news that I hope you can use, and also a couple of tips or ideas that I have developed since we last visited. The news this week, I'd like to center in on a part of our county that usually doesn't get talked about too much, but I think that's getting ready to change. And that's what we typically call East Montgomery County, the east part of the county, over around Porter, FM 1314. Great article yesterday, if you missed it, in the Houston Chronicle front page, talking about the impact, entitled Growth in Sight as Route Opens, the impact of the new tollway and what it's doing, already done, and going to do for this part of Montgomery County. And I wanted to share some of this with you if you, in fact, missed that article. Because I think if your business, if you're looking for a second location, perhaps you're in a service business, you want to expand to that area, the tollway apparently is already having a huge impact. It's cut down what used to be a 30, 40-minute ride down to 15 minutes to reach that part of our market here in Montgomery County. And so if you're servicing people, or again, if you're looking to add a location, it's something I think you need to take a look at it. It's going to take time, but some things are already undeveloped. One of the things mentioned in the article is that there's a 240-acre town center with shops, restaurants, and amphitheater that's already under construction. There's already a housing development called Valley Ranch. When it's built out, 2,500 new homes, a hospital in that area. And then there's also a planned community called Tavily that's going to rise on 1,500 acres nearby, where I-69, the old Highway 59, have to get used to that. Someone like myself who's lived around here a long time, still call it Highway 59, but we have to remember it's I-69. It's an interstate highway, and where the Grand Parkway meets it. So there's lots of information and lots of interesting things going on. Obviously, and we talked about it about a month ago on the show, the theme park that's being built there is just another development that's going on in that area. All of this really driven by the catalyst of the connection of the Grand Parkway, the 14 miles between 45 and 59. And we've seen this happen as they've connected other segments, say from 45 to 290. If you drive that segment, as I did recently, opened back in March, you see development already happening. Some was already in place, but you see a lot of land. A lot of land looks like it's developable, and these kinds of developments will happen as a whole. One thing to notice, too, about this community, and this may be lost on some of our business people out there, is the fact that the east side has kind of been a little bit behind. For example, household income, median household income in Grangerland, New Caney, Splendora area was $60,000 a year in Porter compared to $70,000 in the county as a whole. Now, when you go back to the communities of Grangerland, New County, and Splendora, it's $45,000. And if you go all the way to the Woodlands, it's $110,000. So there's a lot of room for growth, improvement in incomes, and that to me is a draw to develop, to build a business in that area. In fact, they have a local improvement district over there in that part of the county that's offering $1,000 to every graduate from high school within its boundaries to further their education. They're using the tax revenue that they raise. So they see the necessary step. We've got to have an educated workforce, an educated community, and this will lift the income level over there. So I think it's important that we all pay notice to East County, because I really do believe it's an up-and-comer. And as we continue to develop in the 45 area in Conroe, where this program comes from, it's happening. It's going to continue to happen. But I think you're going to see a lot of growth out I-69, particularly in the Porter, New Caney area. So keep an eye on it. And again, if your business, you're looking to expand it, expand your service area, I would keep this area in the back of your mind for sure. Business tips you can use. A couple things today. One of them's a little repetitive, and I apologize in advance, but I think it's something that we can't really get enough. If we own businesses, we manage people in business, we have to manage our business and look through success, as this article is entitled, with an attitude of gratitude. This is one of the easiest things we can do every day in our business. Regardless of all the other issues or difficulties that are going on in the business, we always should have, I call it, a heart of gratitude. And you've got to work at it every day until it becomes natural. It has to be a habit, I think, particularly in the business owner and hopefully in the employees that work in that business. And the first thing you got to do is set out to create a great culture. Obviously, if I have a great culture, a great workplace, and I think this can happen even if you just have one or two employees, you've got to want to have employees. You've got to want, obviously you need, but you've got to want to have a place where people want to come to work. My grandson this morning, he's 5 years old, told his mom he didn't want to go to school. Well, he's got an environment that he's not excited about, whatever that might mean to him, so he doesn't want to go to school. I mean, a lot of us back in that day in school age had that attitude. But there are a lot of employees that just don't want to go to work because the environment where they work is just not conducive. It's not appealing to them. So you got to start a culture that appeals to people. Be sure you thank everybody. I try to make it part of what I do every day to thank everybody because I'm thankful, let's face it, and to be able to thank people, and not only customers and clients, but vendors, and most importantly, thanking my employees. You need to be intentional about your gratitude towards others without expressing or acting like you are. You have to act these things out. Gratitude is meant to be shared. And if you have that kind of attitude, and you will have an attitude of gratitude in your business. Share the good news with the people who work for you. Second business tip I hope you can use is winning your customers. I started this last week, an article that I read by a good friend of mine and author and consultant, John Janisch, with Duct Tape Marketing. He writes some great pieces. Again, I encourage you, as I've done a number of times, to hook into his system. He sends out a great weekly newsletter. Always find one tip or two in his newsletter that I can use or convey to my clients. And one of the articles he wrote last year was entitled 60 Ways to Screw Up the Customer Experience, broke it down into segments. Last week I started with the initial one. And this week I'd like to talk about what he calls the like stage or phase. This is when your business, people start to notice it. They start to know what you're doing. He calls it, they start to notice your brand. And now you want to move forward because people want to know more about who you are in your business. First step, community involvement. Be sure you're involved in the community. There are a lot of good reasons to do that, but part of it is that you're selling your business. Doesn't mean you go out and have a for sale sign on. It means you're involved in the community because you and your heart want to be involved, and this conveys to people that you're a good person, someone they'd like to do business with. Look to do events if you can. I know so many Main Street businesses that have opportunity to do events and do things in their store, be part of events in the community, and they just pass it up as a lot of trouble. I don't think it is. I think it can be turned into a lot of fun. Be sure you have a physical presence. If it's your office, your store, even how you look and you dress. I have some clients that don't dress for success, whatever that might mean to your business. They're missing an opportunity to promote their brand. What is your value proposition? Make sure people understand what it is. Don't assume that they do. Be sure you're engaged socially. You heard Donna Wick in the first segment of our show talk about how important it is to be out there on the different social media and how challenging and changing it is. But you have to engage your business on social media. Be sure your graphic design of your logo and other parts of your business is up to par with what your value proposition is. Make sure you have content to talk about in your business, whether it's from behind the counter or on the internet, whether you offer advice through your website. Be sure your content also meets your value proposition, that it clearly says in its words and in its call to actions who you are and what you want people to think about your business and why they should be doing business with you. And then finally, and I just touched on this in the attitude of gratitude, is your people. Make sure that any employees that work for you express in all their actions, both internally and externally, to your clients and your vendors, make sure they express what culture it is that you want your business to be all about. Work with them. It takes training. It takes time. Hire people who care about business and then teach them the actual skills they need to work in your business. Well, those are my tips and news for the day. I hope you've got some content there. And don't forget, this show is archived. In about 48 hours, you'll be able to tap in, go to the website, irlonestar.com, click on the Weekly Business Hour, and you can listen to parts you may have missed or if you want to hear anything again. And also remember, you can reach out at any time on email to me at rick@irlonestar.com. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I'm going to share with you my Silver Fox Advisor tip of the week.
If you are looking to start a career, you can start your professional life in the U.S. Army. I am Staff Sergeant Stephen Jackson. My fellow soldiers and I can talk with you about learning high-tech skills in electronics and computers as a soldier. Interested in the medical field? The Army has skilled medical and dental jobs that set you up for future success. Come visit us at 2109 West Davis Street, directly behind the Whataburger on Highway 105, or give us a call at 936-756-7002.
Are you paying too much for your personal or business insurance? Patricia Cooper Insurance on FM 1488 and Tamina Road is an independent agency that can shop multiple carriers to find the best rates and coverages to fit your specific needs. Call us today at 281-356-9955 and let us go to work for you. Patricia Cooper Insurance, where our customers are treated like family.
Did you know there are more than 790 abused and neglected children currently in foster care in Montgomery County? Will you help make a difference? I'm Allie Stevens with Casa Child Advocates of Montgomery County. We train and support volunteers to be the voice of children in the foster care system. Kids are removed from their home because of abuse and neglect, and we need volunteers just like you to advocate for these children. To learn more about becoming an advocate, please visit CasaSpeaksForKids.com. That's CasaSpeaksForKids.com.
Hi folks, it's your old buddy Luke Clayton, and I want to invite you to join me every Saturday morning right here on Lone Star Internet Radio from 8 to 9 for Outdoors with Luke Clayton and Friends. Bill Dance is a frequent guest. Larry Weissler and Mr. Whitetail is on the show every week. We talk a lot of hunting and fishing and generally have a good time. So remember, every Saturday morning, 8 to 9, right here on Lone Star Internet Radio.
You're listening to the Weekly Business Hour, and I'm Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor and host of the show. Now in the final segment, I want to share with you, as I try to do every week, Silver Fox Advisor Tip of the Week. And I hope you don't laugh too much when I share my thought this week, but I came across this article and I thought about it long and hard. It's entitled 11 Signs You're Not Ready to Run Your Own Company by Ian Lurie in Conversation Marketing. It's an article I read several years ago, and I was kind of looking through my archives. And it's interesting as you dig down into this, and the fact that maybe you, or if you're thinking about starting a company, really aren't geared, if you will, or set up or designed, or however you want to look at it, to run your company. Maybe there's some more thought that needs to be put into starting a business, or if you're running a company, maybe you need to back up for a minute and make some adjustments so you can run a more successful company. Ian provides a checklist of 11 items, and he says if you fit in 4 or more of these categories, you might want to wait a while, or you may want to make some major adjustments. The first one is an obvious one. Your ego is bigger than you are. You have to be the smartest person in the room. And let me tell you something, based on my experience in business, that is absolutely the biggest trap out there. We have a great idea. We have a great product that we've developed. We've got a service, an angle with service that we can beat everybody. We just need to open a business, or we start a business, and we're pushing just as hard as we can. But yet our ego is tripping us up. And a lot of times, quite frankly, and I speak with some experience, we don't realize it. Be sure your ego fits your business. You think revenue equals cash flow. This is an accounting situation. You've got to give your employees information, and he gave a great example that I used in a piece a week or two ago, is next time you're short of cash, and be sure you turn around to your employees and give them a revenue report to let them know why you missed payroll, and just see what they say. So you've got to understand the accounting. Revenue is not cash flow, or vice versa. They intermix with each other, but they stand on their own. So be sure you understand the basics of accounting when you start a business. Third one, if you're in it for the money, and that's what it's all about, well, let me tell you something. You got to find some other motivation. If you're in business right now, you already know what I'm talking about. And if you're thinking about it, you really do need to think about it. If it's just about the money, you're in trouble already. Got to have enough money to make that payroll, but you got to really love what you're doing in producing your product or delivering your service. It's very important. Fourthly, you need a price structure. If you don't have one already, and I have visited with a lot of small businesses during my career that didn't have any kind of price list, price structure, they hadn't thought it through. On the other hand, I have clients who spend a lot of time trying to analyze the market and understanding their price structure, particularly before they roll out a new product or service, because they want to price it right, because they want to sell it. And that's important. Be sure you have a price structure. You respond to a crisis by getting upset. As Ian says, throwing things, screaming. Obviously, you've got to be able to handle the difficulties that might come your way in running a business. This need for patience, if you will, it tries a lot of people. A lot of us are just not cut out to be in business on our own. It's not that it's impossible, but you've got to be geared for that. Some people are just geared to work for other people and stay very focused on what it is that they do well. When you're in business for yourself, face it, you have to do everything. As my father loved to say, you've got to be the cook and bottle washer all in one. You've got to be able to do everything when called upon, at least in the initial startup stage. So keep that in mind if you're in business or thinking about starting your business. If you're one of those that can't delegate, this really applies as you get down the road. You need to be able to delegate. You also need to be able to hire third parties like Wicked Publicity that we visited with earlier, to have the best people on your team, even when you start out, even when money's tight. If you don't have the money to put the best team together, even if they're not employees, and you're outsourcing when you begin, which is not unusual, then you're in trouble already. So you need to be able to delegate that. You need to be able to delegate it, and you need to have the money to pay for it. You hate working with customers. I can't imagine starting a business and not liking people. But customers are people, but not every person is going to be your customer. So be sure that you have a business that a background and an understanding, and you're built to deal with customers, because they're going to be good and bad, or as we said, they're ABCs. We ranked our clients. A were the ones that did a lot of business, they were easy to get along with, they wanted to be educated, they want to be good customers. The other end of the scale were the C's. They take up all your time, they bought very little, and they always complained. Be sure you're able to deal with A through C, and when called on, you will get rid of the C customers. You need to be able to do it. You don't like hard decisions. That can be a hard decision when you have to decide to cut a customer loose. Harder decisions, though, are firing and laying off people, moving to a new office, paying yourself versus paying the rent. Be sure you're geared and comfortable, whatever that might mean to you, in making those hard decisions, because they will come. That's part of being in business for yourself. You don't like choosing sides. Now, I found this one interesting. When do you have to choose sides in a business? Well, say you've got employees, and one employee says one thing and the other feels the other way, and there's a conflict. It doesn't have to necessarily be a noisy conflict. It could be that you've asked for advice and they bring information to you. They have a point of view. You've got to be able to make a decision and choose one or the other. And you have to have a staff, a group of employees that will accept that you're not always going to take their side. You're going to do what's best for the business, because you've got information, quite frankly, they don't have. You have to be responsible for the whole, while they have to be responsible for their particular area of expertise and where they work every day. Number 10, you think negotiating is equal to screwing the other guy. I love this one. The fact that, okay, I'm a great negotiator, and I'm going to make the best deal. And eventually, if that's your the MO that develops around you in business, where you're out negotiating hard for everything, you're pushing everybody at all levels, not just your vendors, your trades, but you push your people, you're pushing everybody because you're going to make the best deal. Let's face it, you're a deal maker, not a business builder. Yes, you need to be able to negotiate, get the best prices for your services, the products you need, the equipment you might need in your business, and when you hire people, hire them right, but you can't push too hard. If deal making is your expertise, you need to work for somebody and be a deal maker. But that is because ultimately those vendors, those customers, and those good employees are going to avoid you like the plague, and you're not going to be able to build a good, solid business. The last item I want to touch on is your business plan. If it's to sell the company and retire, then you need to start over, because it's a lot more than that, particularly when you've started your company or you're in the stage where you're thinking about starting a company. You need to think about in your business plan that you're going to build a business. You're going to develop happy customers. You're going to make a profit. There are lots of things that you need to go through before you sell the business and retire. But again, I've met people that say, well, I'm going to build this business. I've got this great idea, great product idea. I know how to serve people with this particular service. I'll take over a certain market share, and then I'm going to retire. It's interesting. And the idea is that you can't read a book or go on Facebook and say, well, gosh, they did it. Well, there's a lot of in between. There's a lot of sweat, a lot of challenge in between starting that business and then retiring from that business. So I encourage you, think it over before you start your business. Well, if Ian's right and you fit into 4 or more of those categories, you've started a business, I encourage you, back up today. Don't wait too long, and see how you can correct those things and get your business back on course to the level of success that you deserve and the business deserves. And if you're one of those listening to this program who's thinking about starting a business, then I absolutely encourage you, be sure you've thought it through, because some of those areas, like working with customers, making hard decisions, that's just part of the basic business formula. There's not really a way to avoid those things. You're going to have to work with people. You're going to have to work with employees, I assume, unless you desire to be a solo practitioner of your business, a sole proprietor. But then you're still going to have to, some way, either directly or indirectly, even if you're online, you're going to have to work with people. And those are going to be your customers and your trade vendors. So keep this in mind. I think this is good advice. It's kind of fun. Hope you didn't laugh too much about it, but think about it before you move through another day, and make sure you are geared for success. Well, I want to thank you for joining our show today. Thank Donna Wick again with Wick Publicity. Encourage you to consider her boot camp on May 19th. Even if you think you're a marketing genius, it's a good idea to brush up from time to time. And I encourage you to visit our website at irlonestar.com to stay up on everything that's happening in Montgomery County. As we close the show today, I want to give a big Lone Star thanks to our sponsors, Patricia Cooper Insurance Company, Schooley Mitchell, Taylorized PR, and Silver Fox Advisors. My encouragement, stay engaged this week and keep your focus on what counts in your business. Please put a note on your calendar to join us again next week right here on irlonestar.com at 11 a.m. Look forward to hearing from you during the week.